What's going on, y'all? It's a Caveman back at it again with another video. And before the video starts, I just want to plug the Twitter per usual. You already know how it is. If you want to follow me over there, that's cool. If you don't, that's cool too. But I just want to have it out there for you guys. Let's hop right into it. I've compiled a list of the 5 teams that we could potentially play going into the wildcard round. And there is a lot riding on the Week 17 games that we have this weekend. I've compiled a list of the 5 teams that we could potentially play. And the teams that I want to play the most and the team I want to play the least. And I'm going to break down why. I'm going to show you why and tell you my opinions on every team. And I'm not going to like sit here and bore you with numbers and stats because I feel like stats don't tell the whole story. I have kind of broken down stats on this channel before and I really didn't enjoy it. I'm not really a stats and numbers kind of guy. I'll sprinkle them in here and there to, push whatever narrative I'm kind of, trying to aim at. But nevertheless, it's really not going to be a boring numbers video. I'm just going to break it down and tell you how shit really is. Starting at the top of the list with the team I want to play the most, the team I'd like to play the most, that would be the Miami Dolphins. I can't imagine this is a surprise to many people. The Miami Dolphins have shown very little flashes of being any kind of threat to anybody, not even just the Bills, just to anybody in the AFC. I mean, as far as their offense goes, Tua has been captaining that offense for a while now, and he really has not had the capability to do so in an efficient fashion whatsoever. I mean, he just can't do it. And Ryan Fitzpatrick has been able to step in and bail his ass out a couple times, and he's shown that he can do it. But for some reason, Brian Flores just really likes Tua and really wants him to be the guy. I'm not really sure why. As of right now, he wants him to be the guy when they have a potential chance to go in the playoffs. But I don't know. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, the way things are going, if Tua's playing, they're really not going to be able to do very much. We've already played them once this year. We took care of them, and that was when Fitzpatrick was playing. And now we play them this weekend going into Week 17, and we're going to see some Tua. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Fitzpatrick as well, but it should be a game that we're able to take care of. And if in the case we're going to see them in the wild card round, no matter who's at quarterback, we really shouldn't have a problem handling them. Aside from Myles Gaskin and maybe Mike Gesicki on a good day, they really don't have any other weapons that are too much of a threat to us. But nevertheless, the defense is their strong side of the ball, their stronger side of the ball at least. It's not like it's anything special. I do think it's very good. It's one of the upper echelon defenses in the league, I would say, but it's not like it's top 5. I think numbers have really inflated the Dolphins and made them look a little better than they actually are. I think they've caught a couple teams at their worst points in the season, such as the 49ers. I think that was the 49ers' worst game of the season by a mile. And they've also had the Rams, who have also another offense that just has struggled awfully, and they struggled bad against the Dolphins. So I'm not taking anything away from the Dolphins' defense, but I do think they've been inflated by a couple of really lopsided games where the defense took advantage of a very bad offense. The last year defense is good, but I don't think it's stopping the Bills. You just got to remember who the Bills are and the high-powered offense we have. That really the Miami defense should not be a problem for the Buffalo Bills whatsoever. And overall, the Miami Dolphins really are not looking like a threat to us whatsoever in the first round. The team I'd want to play the second most is the Cleveland Browns. And why is this? I feel like some people would put them a little lower on the list as far as who they wouldn't want to play or who they would want to play, but they're the second team I'd want to play. And the reason is because they're the most, well, not the most, but they are one of the most one-dimensional teams on this list. They definitely fit the narrative of can run but can't pass. I would say they can pass a little better than some of the other teams on this list, or one other team on this list. We'll get to that in a little bit. But granted, they're pretty one-dimensional. When Baker has to throw, Baker is not very good at it. He can make his play-action passes and hit the darts he has to when the run game is being efficient, but when he has to drop back to pass consistently, he is not very good at it. I think our defense has really turned a corner, and they will be able to shut down the run game pretty efficiently, and I just don't think Baker's going to be able to efficiently pass at a rate that he's going to have to keep up with our offense. And as far as their defense goes, oh my God, talk about abysmal. They've given up 30 points in 8 of their 15 games this season, and 2 games where they've played against the Jaguars and the Jets where they've given up 20 plus. So that's 10 games when their defense has just been pretty embarrassed. I mean, granted, their offense hasn't been good in some of those games either, but their defense is just not good by any stretch of the imagination. So that should be nothing that the Bills can't take care of. So if we're able to put the Cleveland Browns down early or even down at all, then they won't be able to run as much. They'll be wasting their own clock, and Baker won't be able to throw the ball to get them back into it. So this should be a game that we should easily take care of as well. So at number 3 on the list is the Tennessee Titans. This team is very one-sided. Talk about one-sided. The offense is extremely explosive. It's extremely dangerous. Derrick Henry is a force to be reckoned with. We all know that. Ryan Tannehill has shown the ability to pass the ball when he has to. He isn't exactly the best when playing from behind. When they have to, really throw the ball efficiently, he's not the best at it, but I believe he's better than Baker Mayfield. I think they have a couple more weapons as well in A.J. Brown, Corey Davis, Jonnu Smith. They definitely have their fair share of weapons. But this is an offense like the Browns that will struggle when they go down. If they do not have Derrick Henry in their offensive game script, they will really start to struggle. It won't be as bad as I feel like the Browns, but at the same time, if they go down and there's no Derrick Henry, then that's half of their offense gone. But when I said one-sided, they are extremely one-sided. I mean, their defense is just horrid. Like, talk about, like, this is a case where you could look at the numbers and just really, like, you could just take a quick scan and you're like, oh my god, this defense is abysmal. This is one of the bottom teams, one of the worst defenses in the entire league, and we have one of the best offenses in the entire league. We should have absolutely no problem. They, especially pass offense or pass defense. They have one of the worst pass defenses in the entire league. We are the best pass offense in the entire league, second best at that. But either way, we should be able to shred through that defense with ease. I have no fear of the Tennessee Titans defense whatsoever, and that's why I put them at 3, is because I feel like their offense is just that good, but at the same time their defense is that bad. They killed us early in the season, and to say that that wasn't a fluke would be a little crazy. The team we are now compared to the team we were when we played them in week 4, we're a lot different, and they had that whole COVID situation go down. I think the game would go a lot different if we saw them in the wildcard round compared to how it went in week 4. So we're getting to the final 2 teams on this list, and these will be the 2 teams I'd want to play the least. I almost think of it as almost like a 1A and a 1B kind of situation, but for the sake of listing them, the Baltimore Ravens are next. This is a team that has a very, very explosive offense, but an explosive offense in only one dimension, and that would be Lamar Jackson. Anyone that can read at a second grade level would know that Lamar Jackson cannot throw the ball. He is actually probably the worst passer in the NFL. I don't think he can drop back to pass if his life depended on it, and for that reason, that they are not, the top team on this list that I wouldn't want to play against, because like Lamar Jackson is just he can't pass, and that's the thing that's dragging this team down the most. A fantastic rushing offense, and I still don't think they're anywhere near as good as they were last year, and they didn't even find success in the playoffs last year, and Lamar Jackson has only shown mere glimpses of what he was last year compared to this year. So I mean, I just can't imagine that he's going to be able to really replicate any success he had in the regular season last year and carry it over into the playoffs this year. I just don't see any way that's possible. The game plan is simple against the Baltimore Ravens. You shut down Lamar, you shut down the entire offense. There's not a single threat of the pass game for that offense. So you shut down Lamar, you get that game reach for Lamar for him to run the ball constantly, and that game it's pretty much over. But that isn't always easy against the Baltimore Ravens, because they have a top 3 defense, and that defense is scary. They are literally boxing out there, like Marlon Humphrey, Jimmy Smith. I think Jimmy Smith's still on the team. Nevertheless, those those defensive backs are out there. They're punching every pigskin they can get their hand on. They're coming in, they're slamming their hands on the ball carrier. They're punching full fisted. They're coming in at your stomach, and they will jar that ball loose. I've never seen a team force so many freaking fumbles, especially from defensive backs. Guys are dogs back there, and they are a little scary, and their defense has been the #1 reason why that they're even good this year, or even why they're in the playoffs. Their defense has absolutely carried them. Like, this defense is freakish, and I do think they are very good, but at the same time, you got to remember who the Bills are. I don't think there's any defense in the NFL that's going to slow down the Bills offense enough for the opposing offense to keep up with the Bills, if that makes sense. So I think once the Bills, they go up a score or 2, Lamar Jackson won't be able to run that much, and the defense of the Baltimore Ravens is just going to get tired really fast. And I just don't see a game script where the Baltimore Ravens come out on top here. And last but not least, we have the Indianapolis Colts. Now, this team is by far the most rounded on this list, and I don't even think it's close. Outside of the Bills and, I guess the Chiefs, I don't even think the Chiefs are as well rounded, but the Chiefs have such a good offense, it doesn't really matter. But anyway, the Colts are definitely one of the most well-rounded teams in the entire AFC. Their offense can do both. They can pass and run the ball. People act like I'm afraid of, Phillip Rivers. I'm really not afraid of Phillip Rivers. He's done what he's needed to. He's shown that he can pass this year. He's got to change the scenery, so I don't think he's completely the same quarterback that he was over in LA. Our offensive line has unfortunately been very depleted as of late, and I don't think it's going to get much healthier. But the run game is still dangerous nonetheless. Phillip Rivers has shown the ability to pass when he has to, and if he can drop back to pass efficiently, which he has shown that he's been able to do this season, if he's able to do it consistently and efficiently, then that offense is very dangerous. As far as their defense goes, it's not exactly Ravens-esque, but it's definitely up there with the top defenses in the league, and that for that reason, like that combination of an offense that can do both run and pass, and their defense that's at the top of the league, I mean, it's common sense to say that this team would be a threat to us going into the playoffs. I think they caught the case of kind of being a little lackadaisical when they had that big lead against the Steelers. I think they kind of took their foot off the gas, and things started to not go in their fashion, and then they weren't able to gain momentum to retake the lead. So I don't really think that Colts game against the Steelers was indicative of what the Colts are capable of, and I don't think they would blow that lead again if they had it. But nevertheless, once again, the Bills are who the Bills are this season, and I don't think anybody on this list, no matter who I have at the top of it or at the bottom of it, are really that much of a threat. I would like to think. I think if the Bills lose in the first round this season, that would unfortunately be a pretty large disappointment, no matter who it would be to. It just seems like there's a very common theme that goes with a lot of these teams on this list, that as far as, the Ravens, the Browns, and the Titans go, they're all one-dimensional and they all struggle to pass. Their best parts of their offense is their rushing game. When you have the high-power offense that the Bills do, and you're able to gain a lead on a team like that can't run the ball when they're down because they're going to be wasting their own clock, that's just a game script for disaster when it comes to teams like that. And for that matter, I don't think that any of those teams are a threat to the Bills. That's why I have the Colts at number 1, like I said, because I feel like they can do both and they have a good defense. Like I said, overall, the Buffalo Bills should not have a problem with really anybody on this list realistically. Let me know what you think of my list down below. If you think I'm crazy, if you think I have this list out of order, if you think I'm undervaluing anybody, underestimating anybody. Who knows? Maybe I'm overestimating what the Bills can do. I'd like to think I'm not. I think the Bills have shown what they can really do as of late, but who knows? Maybe it won't carry over in the wild card weekend. The playoffs are a different monster. Let me know what you think down below. Like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff, and I'll see y'all later in the next one. Peace.